Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Today I'm going to show you a really easy craft project that you can do using items that you find at a thrift store or items that you have around your home. Now I have the finished product here because this actually took me a couple days to do. So I have all that video footage here and we will see that in just a minute. So let's check out what I'm going to be doing. Aren't these just so cute? Now, these were just clear glass jars that I got at Goodwill, and I paid $3 total for the two of them. I love the shape of them. That's why I got them, and I thought it would be really cute to do this. Now, I saw this somewhere a while back, and I really can't remember, but I remembered about doing it, and it's using paper clay, which I've never used before, never have. So it's a learning thing for me, and I think it turned out pretty good. So let's check out the video of how I made these. So here's what the jars look like before I painted them. Like I said, I got these at Goodwill. You can use anything you already have on hand, or you can go to the thrift stores and see what you can find. They don't have to be clear. Just make sure that you wash everything really well with soap and water. Now this is the paper clay that I am using. I actually got this on Amazon, but you can also get them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And these are the stamps that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using two different ones. So I'm just going to work with the clay. It is really soft already. And I think it said that if it kind of dries out, add a little bit of water to it. I'm just going to be pressing it down onto the jar. Just want to make sure I make it a big enough size for my stamp, because I do want extra around the stamp. And you want to make sure that you do it thin enough where it won't take too long for it to dry, because it said it could take up to 3 days to dry depending on the thickness. I don't want mine super thin, but I don't want it really thick either. I want it more thicker in the middle. So I'm going to spread it out, but I'm not going to make it really thin on the edges. I want it to be a little chunky. And you can smooth out your clay more. I want mine a little more bumpy looking. So this is the stamp that I'm going to use on here. It's an orange marmalade one. Just want to position it where you want it, and you want to make sure that you press down hard enough to get the imprint. So if you want a deeper imprint, just make sure you push it down really hard. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that turned out pretty good. I didn't necessarily want it to be even looking, so it looks a little more aged and worn. Now I'm going to do the other one. Just going to do it the same way. This is the stamp I'm going to use because this is a skinnier jar. And yes, it does fit. So I'm going to work with the clay a little bit and get it pushed down. Again, I'm going to make this one a little more chunkier, even on the edges. But you can blend this if you want to with your jar. Just going to smooth it out a little bit more. I want a little bit more of the clay sticking out from the stamp. And I am keeping it thicker in the middle where the stamp's going to go. Okay, the same thing. I'm just going to press down. I'm not doing it super hard, but hard enough. And I did wrap the clay around the edges on both of the jars, just a little bit. Okay, let's see how this one looks. This one looks good too. So now I have to let them air dry. I'm going to see what it looks like after one day. So the next day they are dry, which is good. I really didn't want to wait 3 days. Now this one ended up having a few cracks in it, but I think that looks really cool. That gives it a more aged look with that. Now I'm going to be spray painting these. This is what I used to spray paint them. And, you know, I'm not really happy with the color. I thought it would look a little bit more lighter. It's a more creamier. I know it's kind of hard to tell on here. But I think I'm going to take some of my white chalk paint and paint these with the white. So this is the chalk paint that I'm using. It's just white. And I'm going to use a brush, and I think that will give it some more texture too, because, you know, if the spray painting, it's super smooth. So I'm just going to use one of my big craft brushes and paint each one with the white. I'm mainly going to be going up and down on the sides. I'm just doing the back and forth and up and down on the stamped area, but actually you can kind of see here that it's definitely a totally different color. You can see that it's creamy versus the white that I'm putting on. And I will have to put 2 coats on, but this chalk paint, it dries super quick, so it won't take too long to get 2 coats put on both of these jars. You know, this is actually a fun project. I've really enjoyed doing this so far, and I think I'm going to be doing a lot more with this. So I'm going to have to get some more of this paper clay. I do recommend at least spray painting them before you do another coat of paint. I think that kind of helps get your coverage with the chalk paint. So as you can see, I had to experiment first because I'm using a different color chalk paint, and I really like how this turned out. So we're going to do it on the other jar. This is the other color. This one's toasted poppy seed. And I just put some on a plate here, and I'm going to be using my stencil brush. Just going to be dipping that in the paint and tapping it off on some paper towels. And I'm going to work on the stamp area, and I'm just going to fill all the little cracks and crevices in. And you do want to work pretty quickly with the chalk paint because it does dry really fast, because I'm going to be wiping this off, but I want to get everything covered right now with it. So just take a little bit of time to do that. And I am just going to be using a damp paper towel to be wiping this off. Just want to get everything covered here really quick. And here's my damp paper towel. I'm going to be wiping it off, the excess, because I mainly just want all the darkness to be in the lettering, just the stamp area. And it looks like I need to do a few more touch-ups here on the edges. And if it wasn't dark enough, you know, you just always go back over it again. You can make it as dark as you like. So I could use my stencil brush and brush on the sides, but I'm actually going to use my damp paper towel. I really like using those better. So I'm just going to dip it in, a little bit in, and I'm just going to spread it on, like so. And then I'm just going to move my paper towel around to another area where it's cleaner and wipe it down. You can use 2 different paper towels if you want. I just use the same one. Just going to continue on. Now I didn't do the bottoms of the jars. You can always do the bottoms of the jars if you want. Just going to continue on. And if it doesn't look dark enough for you, just go back over it. Just wait for it to dry a little bit and add more. I always do it lighter because, you know, it's harder to take it away without having to repaint, but you can always add more. I like to keep it kind of dark in certain areas and then lighter on the rest of it. Now I'm just going to do the top part here. Add a little bit more darkness there. And once I get this done, I will wait for them to dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to use a clear acrylic sealer on them. And it's actually a spray one that I use. Then they will be done, ready to decorate with. Well, I am so glad how these turned out. Like I said in the beginning, I've never used this product before. Very, very simple to use. Wasn't sure, but it was very simple. Now, let me bring this up a little bit closer so you can see it. And of course, you know, I couldn't resist putting a spring vignette with this on my table. I wanted to show you how I did mine because I didn't come over here and thin it out a lot. I wanted it to be more chunky looking on here. And my little thing is starting to fall out. But, you know, you can thin this out a lot more, but I just wanted that chunkiness looking. And it did say that it takes about 1 to 3 days to air dry, depending on the thickness. And as you can see, I had it kind of thick, but not too thick. And it only took 1 day for it to dry, and then for me to paint it and seal it took another day. Oh, and I did want to show you my sealer. because I know a lot of people ask. Now this is just the one that I use because I have this left over from my crafting. And I also have the Americana brand too that I get at Michael's. I'm not sure, I mean, even Hobby Lobby would have it, Home Depot, Walmart, they all carry different brands of the clear acrylic sealer. Now I like the matte the best. The gloss is okay, and you can get it shiny enough with the matte because I usually use about 2 coats on it. So that is going to do it for the video today. I hope everybody enjoyed it and that I could give you some ideas what to do with some old jars that you have, either that you find at the thrift store, old pickle jars, and you know what? I got to thinking, even the glass vases, you know, the ones that you get when you get flowers. Usually they're not very decorative. So that is an idea, and not to do the stamping, but I thought maybe taking a bunch of the clay and making it all textured on there and maybe drawing in some cracks here and there and doing a little bit of faux painting on it. It could be a little more Tuscan looking. That is something I might be trying next. So I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.